Boker Tov, Shavua Tov. Today's Daf is Daf Lamed Gimel in Baba Basra, as we learned Brachin called Basis Shalom Tzum L'Sar V'Shipya. We're at the two dots halfway down the page. Short pages are halfway down. Kreve Ravidi Barabin. Ravidi Barabin had a relative, Shachiv. The man died, V'Shavik Dikli. He left over a palm tree, date palm tree, and apparently he had no children, but he was some relative of Ravidi Barabin. So Ravida Baravan Amar Anakriv Natay, he says, I'm the closest relative, I will get the tree. That was what he left over. The tree was worth money. Okay. And the Girsa is Asahu Gabra, a man came along and said, Anakriv Natay, I'm a closer relative. Nobody had any proof at this point, apparently. They each one claimed they were the closer relative. One guy said he was a cousin, one guy said he was a cousin once removed, whatever it was. But they both said the same thing, basically. They both said that they're equally that they were equally entitled. That's what I'm looking at. Equally entitled to the property. Now, it wasn't a case where it was two brothers. They split it. It was a question of who was the closer relative. He says, I'm a closer relative. I'm a closer relative. There was no way to resolve it. So we're going to look at Rashbam here. Rashbam says, take a look at Rashbam in the wide lines in the Rashbam, about halfway into the wide lines. Also, we didn't know who's closer. He took hold of it. He was stronger. And we had the other day that called the Olam Gvar, right? We had that the other day, whoever's stronger. We said, the drush is whoever's quieter, but the fact is we'll see that Olam means who is stronger. Stronger could be in proof, if you have proof. Nobody had better proof at this point, and it also means koach. Who's the tougher guy? Alimut, exactly. Alimut means violent. We use alimut for violent, but it doesn't mean that he didn't hit the guy. He didn't have a fight it out, but he was stronger. He wasn't going to contend with him. So here he says, the other guy was stronger. Whoever's stronger takes it if there's no other proof. So he was stronger. So the other guy, not Ravidi Barabin, the other claimant took the property. Okay. Lasof, back in the Gemara Lasof, and Rashi said, Rashbam says after a year or two, Odele, the other claimant, right? Let's say that we'll call him the counter claimant. We have Ravidi Barabin, and the counter claimant says, okay, the EU carved days Moda, he gave it back to Ravidi Barabin, says, okay, maybe you're the closer relative. Okay, Ukmar of Chista Biyadeh. So if Chista says, okay, if he admits that you're the closer relative, Ravidi Barabin can keep the land. Amalei, how do we pay it? The guy was there for a year or two. I want the land back, but I also want the fruits that he ate during that time. He ate my fruits. I was entitled to it. I want the fruits that he ate from that day till today. Amar. So if Chista said, now see, Rav Chista made many psiske halach over here. He had it the last few days, and they were counted by Abba Rabba. Here he also said, well, look, Amar, so Rav Chista turned to Ravidi Barabin, he says, Zehu she'omer molav adam gadalu. This is the guy, you're the guy that people talk, he's a great man? That's what you're asking? You're asking for the fruit? Aman kasamach mar, why do you get the property back now? Because this guy said, I'm going to give it to you. Maybe you're close, I'm giving it to you. How come? He said, he had said originally that I'm the closer relative, and I took it bedin, because I'm the stronger guy. So originally, he says, why did this guy, the other guy, the counterclaimant, took the property because he was stronger? And apparently there was no other proof. So he says, well, if he's giving it back to me now if he admits it, he should give me back the fruits that he ate too, because he's admitting that it was my property. He ate my fruits. He should give it back to you. So Rav Chista said to him, you're only getting it because he admitted to you. He was entitled to it. When he's giving it to you now, it's like he's giving you a gift. Now this goes counter, I think, to common sense. Because Abaye Barabba Takasei. Look at the last line on the page now, and the last line in the Gemara. Abaye Barabba Lo Sfir Lo Rav Chista. They don't know what Rav Chista said. Chista says, look, you have no claim to the fruits. Why? Because this guy gave you the fruits now on his own. He was entitled to the property because he was stronger of the two, and there's no other proof. And now he's giving it to you. Be happy he's giving you the property. You're not entitled to the fruits. He's giving it to you, so to speak, out of the goodness of his heart. Abaye Barabba said, no. They don't agree with the Chista. Keep the Ode. If the counterclaimant was Moda now that Ravidi Barabin was the closer relative, that means that he was entitled to it from the beginning. He was entitled to the payroll too. And that's what Abaye Barabba seemed to say, what is logical to us. Now, how do you understand Rav Chista over here? A little bit hard to understand. How could Rav Chisda say you're not entitled to fruits because he gave it to you out of the goodness of his heart? He took it before because they had equal claims. No one had a greater entitlement than the other one. So rule is called Olam Kvar. He was stronger. Now he decided to give it to you. He didn't just decide to give it to you. You know what? I don't need it anymore. I'll give it to you. He didn't say that. He said he was motive that Rav Meir was a close relative. So, and take a look at the top line in Rashbam. The halacha is like a Bayim Rabba, like we've seen several places here where Bayim Rabba counter Rav Chisda. Then he says, you're going to Rashbam, I see Rav Adi Baravan Sadi. Now, it wasn't that the counterclaimant was motive that was Ridi Baravan's, rather Ridi Baravan brought proof that he was a relative. Brought proof. They each said, I'm a relative. Okay, you're a relative, I'm a relative. We're all relatives, So what? So he brought proof he's a relative. Then Rav Chisda put it in his hands. And he says, and now when he asked for the fruits, the other guy did not really want to give you the fruits. He didn't want to give you the karka either. Just that you had both had equally poor claims that you're a cousin. He's a cousin, you're a cousin. So what? Nobody had any proof. So the other guy was stronger. Now Rav Baravan brought proof that he had proof that he's a cousin. He says, so if I'm a proof, I should also get the payers. He said he's a closer relative. And the Hani Sadi, and the proof that you're bringing proof, let's say, two witnesses said you're a relative. I say, Lo Masadi, the Ankor of Yoser, or what's the Girsa? The Ankor of Girsa's below. The Ankor of Roy Liyorsho, who ain't Roy Liyorsho. Your witnesses do not say that you're a closer relative. They didn't say that you're a first cousin and he's a second cousin. You just have proof that you're a cousin. He also claimed he is a cousin. He just doesn't have any proof. So I put it in his hands. But the claim that he had till now was strong. Another thing Rashbam is learning, even Rav Chisda is also saying this. He explains, not that Rashbam is learning, but Chanal is learning. He gives a little bit more credence to Rav Chisda says. Abai Rabba, we pass like Abai Rabba. The guy, once it was re-awarded to Ravidi Baravan because he had proof, or the other guy was moda, so give it to him and he gets the payers too. But what's Rav Chisda's svara? Why did Rav Chisda say, okay, you took the karka, you're not going to get the payers? He was moda. Because Rav Chisda is saying, according to this, that there's no proof that you were a close relative than he is. Originally, you both had equal claims. You just said you're a cousin. He said he's a cousin. He was stronger. He took it. Now you brought up proof that you're a cousin. Okay, you brought proof you're a cousin, so we'll give you the land. But you also want the payros? There's no proof that you're a closer cousin than he is. You just a proof that you're a cousin. Suffice it that you take the karka, not the payros. That gives a little bit, I think, of a credence to what Rav Chisda says, because the Chor goes against logic, and if I've Rav are correct. Top line in the Gemara at the 2 dots, top of the page. Okay, two people are arguing over property, right? Each one says it was in my family's rishus. Okay. Hi, I see Sadi Devasanu. One brought a proof that it was his father. This is very similar to the case we had the other day, right? Very similar. Each one claimed it was his father. But here in this case, Rashbam says that, let's say it's Reuben and Shimon. Reuben says it was in my family. Shimon says it was his family. Reuben brought proof, now listen carefully, that it was his father's until his father died. He didn't sell it. He didn't sell it to anybody. You can't claim, I bought it from your father. Remember we had the other day, I bought it from your father. No. He said it was my father's until he died, till his dying day. Okay. Shimon brought proof that he had a chazaka for 3 years. Two people testified that he's been on the land for 3 years. Remember we said uncontested, uninterrupted. Okay. What do you say? Omar, Rav Chisda, again, Rav Chisda is going to be countered. Rav Chisda says something which the Chora makes sense, but not so much. Malo l'shaka. What does malo l'shaka mean? That's amigu. Why would he lie? The one who says he has a chazaka, right? He's been there for 3 years. Why would he lie? I could say, I bought it from you. I could have claimed that I bought it for you and I have a chazaka. I could have claimed that. Okay, I could have claimed that. So the Chora, he's got a good argument. Believe me when I say that I've been a chazaka for 3 years, I could have said I bought it from you. And therefore, why should he lie? And the Chora, we give it to him as a chazaka. Yes, the other guy says it was his father's, but this guy's been there for 3 years. Abaye Barava, Lo Sfilo Rav Chisda. Again, Vai Rava don't hold the Rav Chisda said. This is exactly the same lashon that we had on the last line on Amar Aleph this morning. Vai Rava Lo Sfilo Rav Chisda. They don't hold Rav Chisda. In other words, it's not just that they're arguing. He says, like, well, your argument makes no sense. Just like before, he says, once the counterclaimant was Moda, so of course he should get the payers too. Here he says, we don't say Amiga Makamedim. What is Amiga? Amiga says, listen, believe me when I say X, because if I wanted to lie, I could have said a better lie, which would have been even better. So believe me, I'm telling the truth. But we had the same idea. If you look back on Lamed Aleph 3 days ago, this is Friday's daf, right? On Friday's daf, what do we have? If you look at Lamed Aleph, Amud Aleph, 6 lines from the top of the page, we also had a similar case there. One guy brought a fire with his father's. So again, Rabbah said, almost the same case, except here Rashbam emphasizes that Reuben, it brought proof that it was his father, said it was his father's till his dying day, not Stam that it was his father's. Amalei Abai, in the 6th line on Lamed Aleph, Amud Aleph, yes, we learned this on Friday. That's a migu, but what's the strongest proof in the Torah? 2 Eidim. 2 Eidim, there's nothing stronger than 2 Eidim, unless it's a case where 2 Eidim say this guy's dead and then he shows up in court. The guy shows up alive in court, then, it's in front of us. You can't argue with that. But lacking that, in a regular case, 2 Eidim is what solves it. 2 Eidim is what affects, not affects with an A, but with an E, that affects a gerushin or a kedushin. You need 2 Eidim, right? Otherwise, it's not a good kedushin, not a good gerushin. But in terms of witnesses to testify that something really took place, that it, just proof. The proof is 2 Eidim. In other words, when we say, we said all along here, you need a shtar, right? Where's your document? You bought the house. I lost it. It's 3 years later. Okay, you have a chazakah of 3 years uninterrupted, uncontested. That's good. But let's say you didn't have that, and you didn't have the shtar, but you had Adam who saw you buy it from that guy 5 years ago. That's nothing stronger than that. That's stronger than a shtar. A shtar, a document can be forged. Adam always tell the truth. Right. 2 Adam always tell. We trust 2 Adam until you counter them with until you can. If 2 other Adam against them, either in the form of akhasha, where they contradict one another, or in the form of azama, where you believe the latter Adam. That's exeris akasiv. Okay, fine. But in any case, the Bible says here, what do you have a migu? Believe me, when I said this, I could have said this. But at the end of the day, you have 2 Adam who say otherwise. Why? Because you didn't just say, see, if the other guy would have said, if Reuben would have said, it was my father's, right? The other guy said, it's my father. They both said it's their father's, right? But Reuben brought proof that it was his father's till his dying day. That means that he's affected, that the Adam are saying that he never sold it. He never sold it. Now you say the other guy says it was my father's. Okay? He doesn't have Adam that it was his father's, but he has Adam that he has a chazakah. Okay, believe me when I say I have a chazakah that I bought it because I could have said I bought it from you. But you said you could have bought it from you, goes against Reuben's Aid, who say that it was never sold. Okay, so here he's not a witness that it didn't happen. He said, yeah, how do you know it's witness? Because they could say that it is possible. Let's say you were always with us, and there was no. We controlled the judges and the courts and the documents and the sofer and all that, and we know that till his dying day, it's not simple to say that, but I know till his dying day it was his. Let's say there are Adam like that. It's a theoretical case. Let's say. All right, here he says it's a real case. I'm not saying I don't know if it's really that case, because interesting that you bring it up, because in many of these cases we have hahu. Hahu means a case. There was a guy, and this doesn't happen. Here he didn't say it. He says, let's say each one said it was his father's. And you're right. It's not easy to prove that something didn't take place, right? Unless you were there all day. Like in the case where we had 2 Adam say he lent him $100. 2 Adam say he didn't lend him $100. How do you know he didn't lend him $100? Maybe when you went to the bathroom, he lent him $100. The answer was he was with us continuously all day, and he didn't lend him $100. It wouldn't be easy to prove a negative. But But you could have a case like that where he was with him and he always knew that he didn't sell. So here, what are we saying? The one Reuben says they both say it belonged to their respective fathers, but Reuben has proof that it was his father's till his dying day. That means he never sold it. And Shimon says it was my father's, and I have a chazaka here. Believe me when I say it was my father's, I have a chazaka. Right? I didn't buy it. I could have said I bought it from your father, and I have a chazaka, but that would be against the Edom. You're saying believe me when I say this because I could have said a better lie, but that lie wouldn't work. It's a migu b'makom Edom. Believe me when I say this that it was my father's because I could have said I bought it from you. But if I said I bought it from you, you wouldn't be believed because that's against Edom. The Edom of Reuben says that you didn't buy it. So it's a migu b'makom Edom. He comes down and says, you don't say that. Therefore, it doesn't work. And therefore, what about the chazak of 3 years? He has a chazaka though, right? Reuben said, they both say, it was my father's. Reuben brought proof that it was his father's till his father's dying day. Shimon just brought proof of the chazaka. So what about the chazaka? That's a chazaka b'li time. Right? What do we say? What is a chazaka? When does a chazaka work? A chazaka is proof of purchase. I don't have the receipt. I don't have the bill of sale, but I've been here for 3 years. What's your claim? What's your claim? That you bought it? You can't say you bought it because he has proof that it was his father's till his dying day. He has Edom. What are you going to say? I have a chazaka. Okay, chazaka b'litana. You didn't say, you didn't prove that it was your father's. You had no Edom for that. And your claim that you could have said you bought it goes against the Edom who say that it was Reuben's father till Reuben's father's dying day. So you have a chazaka b'litana. Says the Rashbam, in middle of the middle wide lines. On this page, there's wide lines, right, at the beginning, and then wide lines. Notice the top of Rashi or Rashbam is always 4 lines. You notice it's always 4 lines of indented there? There's a reason for that. I forgot the reason. Somebody will remind me of it today. Send me an email. I forgot the reason. There's a svara for it. Anyway, but in the middle wide lines, about below halfway page, Rashbam says there, and that's the halacha. It's a chazak. You have 3 years. What's your claim? Your claim is, hey, you can't claim that it was your father's because you have no proof to that. Okay, you could claim that it was your father's, but that goes against the other Edom. So your claim, whatever your claim is not a claim because you say it was your father's, that goes against the Edom. You say you bought it from his father, that goes against the Edom too. So therefore, it's a chazaka b'litana. Now, had he said, I bought it from you after your father died, and I've been here for 3 years, maybe that would have been a good claim. That wouldn't be against the Edom. The Edom said that it was Reuben's father's till his dying day. Had he said a good time, what would be a good time? I know your father died 10 years ago, and I bought it from you 3 years ago, and I have a chazaka. That would be a good claim. But Shimon would win that claim. But here it's a chazaka etana, and therefore it's Edom club. Okay. Now, next case in the Gemara. Hahu. Then you just brought me into that idea because say is a theoretical case. Hahu is a real case. Listen to the case. We're about 7 lines down on the page on Mama Gilman base. A man told, Reuben said to Shimon, my boss Bahar, what are you doing on my land? Amalei, I bought it from you. And I have a chazaka. What are you doing on my land? I bought it from you. And Shimon says, I bought it from you. And I have a chazaka. Now, he went and he was looking for witnesses to say that the chazaka, right? His claim is, I bought it from you. Where's my shtar? I lost it. It's been 3 years. Okay. Well, do you have a chazaka of 3 years? You have to have proof that you were in the land for 3 years. Uninterrupted, uncontested. Okay. He brought proof, but he only had Edom that he was there for the last 2 years. The 2 Edom that he had, this moved in 2 years ago. They didn't see the 3rd year, the prior year, whatever, or the last year, whatever it was. Or he has only Edom for 2 years. What do you do in a case like that? In other words, over here, even if Reuben doesn't have proof that it was his, but Shimon was motive that it was his, right? Shimon says, yes, it was yours. What are you doing on my land? I know it was yours, but I bought it from you 3 years ago, and I've been on the land uncontested and uninterrupted for 3 years. Okay, you got proof? I got 2 years. 2 years doesn't do it. Where's your star? You should have kept your star. Amr of Nachman, Hadra Arav, Hadra Peire. The land goes back and he has to give back the Paris. Why? Because he admitted, he said the only reason he was entitled to the Paris is because he bought the land, but he had no proof of that. And he admitted that it was Reuben's originally. Shimon has to give back the land and give back the payros that he ate for 2 years. Okay, interesting, right? Okay, now, and Rashbam points out, Rashbam says, now look at Rashbam, see the widest lines in the Rashbam, closer to the bottom of the page. One line before that, Rashbam says, that's only if he has to give back the payros if there's proof that he ate the payros, right? In other words, what happened over here? Reuben said to Shimon, what are you doing on my land? What are you doing on my land? Shimon says, I bought it from you 3 years ago, and I've been on the land. I bought it from you. I have a chazakah. You didn't prove the chazakah. You only had a chazakah for 2 years, not for 3 years. Whatever it was less than 3 years. 2 years of stum. I mean, this was the case. He said, this is what happened. It could have been 1 year, 1.5 years, 2.5 years. It wasn't 3 years. So he has to give back the land. He has to give back the payros. Now, wait a minute. That's only if Reuben has proof that he ate, let's say, 2 truckloads of payros, a truckload a year of payros. You have proof that he ate it. That's what it produced, and he has proof of that. Hard to get proof for that too. But let's say he had proof. I saw you. Maybe he was really only there 2 years, and this was Reuben's way of protesting. But Shimon says, I've been there for 3 years. You don't have proof. You only have proof for 2 years. Okay. And Reuben has proof that he ate the payros. He had 2 truckloads. Give me back 2 truckloads of payros. Says Rashbam. Avo, in the first of the widest lines in the Rashbam now. If he has no proof, who has a proof? Because he's moda, and he claims, I bought it from you. His claim is, I bought the land from you. It's mine. The payros belong to me. Now, in other words, what's Shimon saying? I didn't steal anything. I bought the land and I bought the payros, except I can't prove my case. Can't prove your case. And he admitted that it was Reuben's, he's got to give back the land. Okay, so Ara, the Rashbam goes on. The end of the first of the wide lines in Rashbam. Ara, even the Leslie, Raya, Bishtar, since he has no proof, Glory Chazaka, he's got to give it back. He has to swear on the payros that he ate his own payros. In other words, we're separating the land from the fruits. The land, I have no proof on the land. I have no proof that I bought it because I lost the shtar, and I don't have 3 years of chazaka. I only have 2 years. Got to back the land. But on the payros, he says again, if there's no proof, there's no proof that he ate the payros, he doesn't know that there's 2 truckloads. Reuben just says, well, you've been here for 2 years, so it must have been a couple of truckloads of payros. No, not necessarily. Because he could have said, he has to swear. He has to swear, I bought the payros, I bought the land, and obviously the payros. The migu, the matzah, he could have said, look, I didn't eat the payros. The land produced nothing during those 2 years. Kiyamad, very little. You go an aisle quarter of apik, tfei, I put in a lot. I invested a lot of land, a lot of fertilizer and seed, and it proves nothing. That would be a chazaka of showing ownership. Come on. Tuva, my own Mehemen, they ain't come out. There's no Migub Mokum Adam. Why? Because there's no Adam that he ate the payros, right? There's no Adam that ate the payros. We don't really know. Do we really know what happened? Reuben says, what are you doing on my land? Shimon says, I know it was your land, but I bought it from you. Do we really know what happened? We don't really know for sure what happened. There's no proof either way, except since Shimon admitted that it was Reuben's land originally, and he can't prove that he bought it, he's got to give back the land. As far as the payros go, there's no proof that he ate the payros at all. He could say there was very little. Or, believe me when I say I ate my own payros, I bought it from you, because I could have said there were no payros. So in the payros, he's believed. He lost his 3 years of mafsid. There's not like case. Goes on. The case of the five we had at the top. The pliga Rav Chisda Leil doesn't keep this bar milsa the Ravidi Bar. In the first case that we had today, well, what happened? Ravidi Baravin was arguing with some other fellow about who was the closest relative. First, the other guy took it. Then he was moda that it was Ravidi Baravin's. So Ravidi Baravin wanted to reclaim the payros also. Because he says, no, this guy's giving it to you out of the goodness of his heart. There was no proof. It was really his, and he gave it to you. My brother says, no, once he's moda that it was your land, he entitled to the payros. The husband keeping this bar milsa the Ravidi carved face, since it was clear that Ravidi was really the close relative. I already noticed there was clear that the other guy, the counterclaimant, the tougher guy, who really had no permission to take it all because it was Ravidi Barbas was a close relative. He ate him shlokadin. So whatever he took, whatever he took, he's got to be paid. Afilu bodos piv l'chayev, right? He's moda. He's afilu bodos piv chayev. He's chayev because he was moda that it wasn't his land. Okay, but over here, the other guy Shimon is not moda that it's not his land. Shimon says it was my land. I lost my receipt. You ever go into a store and you want to return something? They say, I lost the receipt. Okay, you lost the receipt. That doesn't prove that you're lying. I just don't have the receipt. And I don't have a chazak of 2 years. You're entitled to the land because I was moda was originally yours. So, if you prove that it was originally yours and I can't prove that I bought, I got to give it back. As far as the payros, if you can't prove that I ate the payros, so I'm moda on my own. I don't have to return the payros because I claimed I ate my own payros. On the land, you could say, yes, you have proof that it was originally yours. What's your proof? Not proof, but I was moda that it was your land 2 years ago or 3 years ago. It was yours. But I can't prove it, so you get the land. But you can't prove that I ate your payros because the payros were mine. I claim that I ate the payros. I ate my own payros. I still claim that I ate my own payros because I bought it. Doesn't necessarily go together. Rav Nachman says the following. So Rav Nachman says, let's get back in the Gemara. Under our payro, you got to give it back. Rav Tzvitz says, like a new thing explaining that. Im ton ba'amar, if he said lepayros yoraditi, let's say Reuben says, what are you doing on my land? Shimon doesn't say I bought the land from you or it was my father's. I have a chazaka. No, he just says no. You sold me the entire. I was entitled to eat the payros. I was a sharecropper, or I bought the payros from you. You sold me the rights to take your payros for a few years. Okay, if I said then he's believed. Neman. Lav miyamar Rav Yehuda. Didn't Rav Yehuda say? In other words, the guy says. Reuben says to Shimon, what are you doing on my land? I see you've been here for a couple of years. Shimon says, yeah, I bought the payros from you. He's believed in that case. He's not arguing about the land. He said, I bought the payros from you. Why? Lav miyamar didn't Rav Yehuda say, hi man denoket magul v'tuvila. A man comes along with a knife, like a little sickle or a pruning knife. V'tuvila. Tuvila is either a rope, or his mom says either a rope or it's a basket. In other words, he's coming along. He's a garden. Looks like a gardener. He's coming along with a knife and with a basket or a rope, the rope to climb up on the tree. He's coming to harvest the fruits of a tree. Right? I'm going to go to this palm tree and cut it down, the planya. I'm going to cut down as I'm going to trim it and take the fruits. The zavni nilik, I bought from him the rights to cut this down. Then he's believed. What do you see? And therefore, the girsa is in the hay there. My timer lo chotzevinish the goes a dikkel. Person wouldn't have the chutzpah to go cut down somebody else's tree. Would I come into your yard and just cut down the fruits and take it out with me if it's not shvius? Although people do come and just snip off whatever they want on the sidewalk. They like some pomegranates, they take them. They see some flowers, they take them. They think it's hefker. Okay, moichel. But person doesn't normally have the chutzpah to go into somebody else's and just take all the fruits off his tree. The same thing. So if a person says, what are you doing on my land? What are you doing on my land? It's just, I bought the rights for the fruits this year. It's your land, I know, but I bought the rights for the fruits. He's believed. So Gemara says, so if that's the case, why isn't he believed to say it's my land too? He says, shall we say, show your star? You bought land, where's your proof? Where's your proof of purchase? Give me the star. 3 years have passed and you have uninterrupted, uncontested. Fine, that's your proof of purchase, right? But lacking that, you don't get the land. So by the fruits also. Why don't you say also, where's your star? You claim you bought the rights to the fruits for a few years. Where's your star? So the payroll didn't she star of the payroll? People don't write a star for that. For property, people do a bill of sale. They have to register it in tabu and all that. But for buying fruits, people just make a deal, an oral deal, and they paid you up front or whatever they did. So he says that's not. So for fruits, if he only claimed, he didn't have no claim to the land at all, no fight about that. Just I bought the fruits from you. The Rashbam points out he's believed because he said a person doesn't have the chutzpah to do that. However, going forth, once the owner says, "What are you doing on my land?" and the guy says, "I bought until now I bought the rights to the fruits from you," he's believed on that. He's believed because people, where's your star? You don't have a star. We had an agreement. You allowed me to do it. However, going forth, the owner says, the owner doesn't agree with that. So going forth, you can't keep doing it. Otherwise, everybody will always go into somebody else's land and say, what are you doing here? You're stealing my fruits. No, you let me do it. And so, and going forth, he could do it too? No, once the guy protested, he protested. So he protested, but what's going on in the past, he could say, I bought your fruits. I bought them already. What do you want? I bought your fruits. Go prove otherwise. So that's what it says about that case with now. Okay.
Question?
Yeah.
The language that Murray uses for I was on the land for 3 years is a how.
In what?
A halte.
Yeah. That means that I was on the land. I used the land for 3 years. A halte means like I ate the fruits or whatever it means. But yeah.
So he says
that's the chazaka. No, here we're not saying that. Here he's not saying.
Case where
there he's saying right. But there his claim is that he bought it or he received it as a gift or he got it from his father, whatever it was. But he's been on the land as an owner. He's occupied the land for the last 3 years. Yeah, that's different than a guy saying, I just bought the rights to trim your trees. Yeah, right. In general. Yeah.
Where we say that, you say you only have proof that you would have for 2 years.
Right.
I want all the fruits back.
Right.
But he admits that a halte trade.
No, there he just means a halte, but there was very little. Right. So he said, Rav Nachman said, you have to give back the land and the payros if the Reuven can prove that Shimon ate 2 truckloads of payros during those 2 years. He admits what?
Shimon said a halte trade.
2 years, but there was very little produce. He could say there was very little produce. He could say that the whole over 2 years I got 2 apples. I didn't get 2 truckloads. You understand? That's what Rashbam said. Rashbam said, and that we said in the first of the wide lines in the Rashbam, and the line before that. That's only if Reuben has proof that he had 2 truckloads. But if there's no proof of as how much he ate, except he himself is Moda, and he does say, I admit that I ate 2 truckloads, but they were mine. I bought them from you. I have no proof of that. So as far as the land goes, I have no proof. I have no star. But as far as the payros go, I say that they're mine. I claim that they're mine, and it doesn't go together. That's what the chiddush of the Rashbam. Rashbam says if he says he's believed on the land on the ara, since he has no star and he doesn't have a chazaka, he has to give it back, and he makes a shvua on the payros that they were his. There's a minimum. So in the shvua, I bought the payros from you. That I bought the payros with the land. He could have said he didn't eat any payros, so he's believed when he said he ate his own payros. That's the chiddush of the Rashbam. We split the two, right? Even though he has to give back the land.
Even though we use the language.
Of a halte. Yeah. It just means I was on the land.
It could be
means I occupied. Right. Means I occupied. And he's admitting now that there were 2 truckloads, but it's his own dog. But he's also saying I ate my own. Yeah. It just means I occupied. Yeah. Back in the Gemara, about 7-8 lines from the bottom of the page. Again, Reuben said to his colleague, we'll call him, right? What's the gears? He told his friend like this. My boss buyer, what are you doing on this land? And I bought it from you, right? I bought it from you. Okay, that sounds pretty good. I bought it from you and I have a chazaka. Did it? If he would bring proof that he had the chazaka to aid him, that's good. I see chad sada. He brought 1 aid. The aid for 3 years. Okay, he had 1 aid, not 2. What do you do in a case like that? He doesn't have proof he doesn't have proof, right? He has no star. If you had a star, there'd be no issue, right? I bought it from you, but I only want it. Sabra Rabbanan made a bayah. Listen to this. So Rabbanan in front of a bayah. We're really going to look at this case more tomorrow. I don't know if we have a chance to go through the whole thing today, but he said like this. Sabra Rabbanan made a bayah. The rabbis in front of bayah. One of the namer. Ainu Nascha Rababa. There's a famous case of Nascha de Rababa. Nascha means like a metal bar, like not coins, but like bullion. We call bullion. You don't know the bar. Case with Rav Abba. Rav Abba was the postik over there. What happened? Teu Gavra, the chat of Nascha Michabrei. Let's say Shimon grabbed a metal bar, a gold bar was worth $100,000. He grabbed it from Reuven. Also coming to Rav Ami, they came before Rav Ami to decide the case. Grabbed it away. Well, what happened? Avi Yosef Rava come in. Rav Abba, who he said it's called Nascha Rav Abba, goes on his name because he paskined over here. Rav Abba was sitting there. I see Chatzada the Michtav Chatminei. Now, Reuven, who had the bar originally, and Shimon grabbed it from him, and Reuven bought one witness. Again, I'm talking about a case of one witness that Shimon grabbed the bar from Reuben. Omerlei, what did Shimon claim? Yes, I did grab it. It was mine. You saw me grab it, but it's mine. Now, when you look at a case, if I have a wallet, you grab it from me, the assumption is it was mine. I was a muhsik. Here, Reuben was a muhsik too. Shimon says I grabbed it, but I grabbed my own. Rav Ami, so Rav Ami was sitting there. The case came before Rav Ami, and Rav Abba was sitting there, right? They brought the case to Rav Ami. Right? This is the case of the rabbis in front of Rav Ami. Wanted to say this is similar than our case over here with the chazaka. The guy had one aid for the 3 years of chazaka is similar to this case of Nasra the Rav Abba. It's called Nasra Rav Abba, but the case was brought before Rav Ami. And Rav Ami said, what should we do? How should judges rule this case? Think about it. Right? What do you do with this case? Shimon grabbed the bar from Reuben. Assumption is it was Reuben's, right? But Shimon grabbed it from him. And there was one aid that Shimon grabbed it from him. And Reuben said, he stole my bar. Shimon says, no, I took what was mine. I grabbed it, but it was mine. So Rav Ami said, how do you judge this case? L'shalem, should Shimon pay it back? Like a Tresadi, there's no two witnesses that he took it from him. There's only one witness that he took it from him. Yes, indeed, Reuben had it. So he was a muhsik in it. Okay. But is there proof that Shimon grabbed it from him? Only one aid. Should he pay? There's no two aid. Lifter, should you say, well, Shimon's off the hook because there's only one aid? There's one witness that he did steal it, that he took it from Reuben. Just one witness. Lishtaba, should he swear? Right? Should he swear? Because, right? Ha'amar michtav chatva. Right? He said, he already said, he said, I grabbed it. He said, ein chatva. Yes, I did grab it, but I grabbed my own. Well, if you admitted that you grabbed it from the other guy, you should have gone to court. If you admitted it, you're like a goslin. Even though mechatva, I'm like a goslin, he's like a goslin. And a goslin can't swear. We don't trust a goslin's testimony. So Amar le Rababa. So Rababa. So what do I do in a case like this? What do I do in a case like this? Should Shimon give it back? There's no two witnesses. Should Shimon keep it? There's one witness who says that he stole it. That he stole it from Reuben, right? Should he swear? How could he swear? He's a goslin. We don't accept this testimony. So Rababa Paskin, Rababa said to him, you know what? He's mechuyev to swear because there's one witness who says that he stole it, right? That he stole it. There's one witness who says, I saw him take it. He's mechuyev, but he can't swear because he's a goslin. The rule is, if you're mechuyev to make a shvua, to get your case off the case, to swear that it was mine, right? To swear it was mine originally, but you can't swear because you're suspected of being a goslin, you have to pay and he's got to give it back. So therefore, maybe the same would be in our case. Now, the same would be in our case, meaning what happened over here? There was one witness that was there for the 3 years, not two. Therefore, he should give it up. He can't swear. Here he can't swear either. Right? Because so Amalei Abaye, so that's what he wanted to say. That's what the rabbis wanted to say in front of Abaye. Abaye said, L'chora, it's like the case of Nasr Rav Abba, that he has to give it back because he can't, he has no claim. Amalei Abaye, me dummy, how can you compare these two cases? You want to compare our case to Nasr Rav Abba, and Rashbam says at the bottom of Lamed Gimel base on today's daf, then said Doma also Ladin Nasr Rav Abba. We don't learn from Abba. It's obvious that he has to give back the land. What happened over here? Reuben said to Shimon, what are you doing on my land? Shimon said, I bought it from you, and I have a chazak of 3 years. I don't have the star, and I don't have to aid him for the chazak either. Obviously, he has to give it back. So we don't need to learn anything from Rabbi, just as comparing the cases. Inami, says Rashi, that says Rashbam. L'kafi madam, and I didn't ask for Rabbi, ki ech l'ad payra imar, give back to the payras. That kamish yesh lo'edim, dachal payras. The below edim lamadri payras. In other words, if there's no edim, you don't give back this, like we discussed before, like we discussed this at length a few minutes ago. That if there's no, but over here, right? Over here, it's like but over here, it's like the case of Rabbi, even the Kiech, the other pair, Imara, we're passing it to Rabbi's case to show you got to give it all back. But Abaye said these cases aren't the same. Over there, the witness is against Shimon, right? What does the witness say? Shimon, you stole it. See, if there's no witnesses, Reuben says Shimon took it from me. Shimon took it from me. And if there's no witnesses, Shimon would say, no, it's mine. I didn't take it. But there's a witness that says Shimon did take it. So what does Shimon have to do? He has to swear that it's his, right? So over here, the witness is against him, is ruining what Shimon's claim. Shimon claims it's mine. And the witness says, well, we saw you steal it. So the witness is against him. He has to swear. If let's say there were two witnesses that Shimon took it from him, certainly give it back to Reuben, because there's two witnesses that he took it from, he stole it from him. But in our case, over here, what is the witness on whose side? On Shimon's side, because Reuben said to Shimon, what are you doing on my land? Shimon said, I bought it from you, and I was here for chazaka. We bring witnesses. He brought one witness. I got one witness on my side. I'm missing a witness. But over here, the witness is coming on Shimon's side, is defending Shimon. If Shimon would have a second witness, then it would definitely be Shimon's. Reuben says, what are you doing on my land? Shimon says, I got proof that I bought it from you. I claim I bought it from you, and I have a chazaka of 3 years, and I got two witnesses. So it would definitely be his. In other words, I have one witness on my behalf. I'm missing the second one, but the witness is my behalf. So therefore, the two cases are not the same. It's not that we don't know the halacha. Clearly, Shimon has to give back the land in a case because he only has 1A. So he has no proof of purchase. He has no shtar. He has no proof of purchase. But over here, in this case, Rav Abba, it's different. He has to give back. Not that the halacha is so different, because in both cases, Shimon loses, right? In both cases, Shimon loses. But the case is not the same, because in our case, the witness is on Shimon's side. In that case, the Shimon is against the witness against Shimon. If you want to compare Rav Abba to a different, you want to give example of Rav Abba's case, if it's a case where there was one witness and 2 years and payros. And we'll describe this case tomorrow. Mirza Hashem, we'll see this Rashbam near the bottom of the page to describe the case. And that's what we're saying is the case of Rav Abba is not similar to our case. The case of Rav Abba is similar maybe to another case, which we'll learn in more detail tomorrow. This is tomorrow's daf. Have a good day, everybody. Shavua Tov.